Santa Claus Odin? Short answer, maybe? Like Christmas, Santa Claus is a blend of many cultural influences, and the churches, both Catholic and Protestant, trying to alter folk beliefs to fit Christian narratives. First, the likely pre-Christian candidate for the Yule ride that ran across the northern skies, the Wild Hunt. Often demonized thanks to Christian propaganda, the Wild Hunt is when Odin leads the Einherjar, the worthy dead who enter Valhall, across the frozen wilderness, hunting the denizens of chaos. Malevolent spirits of ice and cold that freeze crops and terrorize the people. An obvious euphemism for the cycle of summer and winter. In continental Germanic heathenry, rather than Odin, it's their version of Uller, Holler, not a big etymological leap, Humst, they also call the Eternal Hunter, who leads the hunters across the sky. I'll put links to a good Urglaawe blog on the subject in the description. It's also plausible that Krampuslauf, the Krampus parade we often see, is a tradition based on this. Monstrous pagan visages in a parade to scare children may be a reflection on the huntsman. I'll be doing a similar video to this, exploring Krampus' origin as well. Moving on to the saint, whose namesake inspired Santa Claus, Saint Nicholas.
Name? Kris Kringle. Santa Claus. Père Noël. Babo Natali. Père Nicole. Papa Shisho.
His day is December 6th. I got Krampus night wrong in last year's Krampus video. It's the night before, on the 5th, not after. Saint Nicholas was patron saint and protector of children. I'll post links if you want to read more about him. But essentially his holy day, being so close to the solstice and Yule and Saturnalia, led him to be associated with the holiday season, especially after the Protestant Reformation, when the church tried to supplant the Christmas gift bringer with the baby Jesus, Talladega Night style.
Look, I like the Christmas Jesus best, and I'm saying grace. When you say grace, you can say it to grown-up Jesus or teenage Jesus or bearded Jesus or whoever you want.
But what's Christianity without a Punisher? Just a bunch of hippies singing Kumbaya. So, St. Nicholas became a Punisher. This is a probable origin and influence on the Dark Lord of Yule, Krampus, but more on that in its own video. But folk traditions don't die well, and it's difficult to make the patron saint and protector of children a boogeyman. So, St. Nicholas began to evolve with the times and with the people. The 4th century Greek saint took on the folk traditions of the various people who celebrated their version of the winter festival, going through an ebb and flow of being a crazy pagan party and a Christian holy day. Martin Luther saw nothing wrong with Christmas, but John Calvin and the Puritans tried to abolish it. Those wacky Puritans! They actually called it Fooltide. I'll post a link on the Christian War on Christmas in the description as well. It was really the Victorian era that finally put a relative end to the chaos. This is why a lot of Christmas-themed things are Victorian, including the Christmas tree, which was probably started by Queen Victoria and Prince Albert in the 1840s and 1850s. Though some posit that evergreens were used to decorate homes around the solstice, probably due to the longevity of the plant. The History Channel even stated that Egyptians decorated their homes with evergreens, though it was probably palm trees. The History Channel may need to buy a map and be told how deserts work. The solstices, summer and winter, are sun celebrations. Our ancestors were agrarian, and the sun was very important. The seasons were important to sustain the people. So that brings me to a new thing I'm doing on this channel, inspired by Thought Slime's Eyeball Zone, the Gjallerhorn. Basically, I want to bring attention to pagan creators and creators who are adjacent to paganism, or just awesome. The channel Norse Magic and Beliefs is amazing, and he has a great video on Yule. I will link both his channel and the video at the top of the links in the description. He's Norwegian and thus has the perspective of growing up with certain customs that descended from their folk traditions, and his subscriber count is criminally low. So check out that video and subscribe. And if you have a heathen project or something you think deserves more traffic, email gothy.grimwolf@gmail.com with the word Gjallerhorn somewhere in the title. He didn't ask, I just wanted to promote him, and that video is relevant to the subject. Back to the topic. The resurrection of the sun and melting of the frost marks the end of the Wild Hunt. Thus, Yule, according to historical Norse sources, is the first full moon after the solstice, not directly on the solstice, is a welcoming back of the sun through fire and celebration. Likewise, the presents may be a folk tradition, descending from the gift economy of the Norse peoples. A gift economy is a society that increases social bonds through the exchange of gifts. We'll go over this more when I do a video on arm rings, as well as another on the gifting cycle. But what about semantic center? When we examine Odin, he shared semantic center with other horned gods of the underworld and magic that led the wild hunt in other traditions. Santa Claus isn't a lord of the dead. Although his elves descend from what used to be lore about the honored dead, the Alfar were once tied to the burial mound. But that's a far stretch compared to the toy makers that just want to be dentists.
Well, sir, someday I'd like to be a dentist.
Odin wears dark blue, not red. The red and white may be influenced by the fly agaric and Siberian shamanism, though the evidence I've seen for that is weak. I referenced this idea in my Did Berserkers Use Mushrooms video. The modern red-suited fat man was created by Thomas Nast, then later adopted by Koch, and the American Santa Claus influenced the rest of the world. Santa Claus is magical, but he's not the wandering save mother that Odin is. He's more, how do I explain this to kids, magical. His 8-legged horse Sleipnir is probably coincidental to the 8 reindeer created in Clement Clark Moore's A Visit from St. Nicholas, we all know as Night Before Christmas. So in summation, no, Santa Claus isn't exactly Odin. He is, however, a vague remnant of the Yule Father, but this doesn't mean modern heathens can't trade jolly old Saint Nick for the one-eyed wanderer. We build new traditions from the old. We can regale heathen children with tales of the Allfather, riding with his entourage of heroes who came before us, the protective Disir and honored warriors from the past. Odin may not be Santa Claus, but he is the Yule Father. Skull! Skull!